So why has this been sat in a drawer? I don't know. I don't know what my problem is. Do you know what my problem is? I don't know. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at some makeup that I have completely abandoned. So every so often I like to do a video like this where I go back into my makeup collection and I pull out products that I either used to love but stopped using, or makeup that I bought and just decided not to use at all. So today we'll be trying to figure out what my problem is and why I don't use these products and whether I want to start picking them up again. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. So if you have never gone back into your makeup collection to see what's there, I highly suggest you do. This is honestly my favorite type of video to film. I love this series where I go back into my makeup collection and I see what's there, because every single time I do it, I end up finding products that I used to absolutely adore and used to use on a daily basis, but for some reason, they are still sat in a drawer. So I have a mixture of high-end and drugstore, a little bit of a mix of everything. So I have already done my eyebrows because I don't have any old eyebrow products really that I wanted to dive into. So I usually do my eyes first, but today we're not going to be using an eyeshadow palette, so I won't have any fallout. And I also prepped my skin ages ago with my usual milky toner and moisturizer. So I feel like we can do the complexion first today for a change. So we are going to start with the complexion, and we're going to kick off with this from L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal Glotion Natural Glow Enhancer. I have this in the shade 902 Light Glow. I really loved this when I first tried it, and it was because I was really into glow enhancers, so glowy primers. But since my rosacea has started to really try and annoy me every single day of my life, I have kind of stepped back from using my glow enhancers. Now it looks really, really metallic there, but I remember absolutely adoring this. I just remember it looking really nice. I'm scared. Right, let's just go in with it. I guess with any glow enhancer, it is a little bit like putting a highlighter all over your face. And I'm laughing inside because I've got so many viewers, lovely regular viewers to the channel, who don't have the same preferences with base products that I do. I love glowy and they hate glowy and they love matte. And so, do you know what? Thank you so much for still watching my videos, because I know that you hate some of the base products that I use, but I know that you're going to be cringing right now with me putting this on my face. I love that though. I do. Look, you either love glow or you absolutely detest it. And I know that the people that detest it are just going to be like, how can she put that on her face? Look at how shiny she is. It just boils down to your preference. Do you like a glowy base or do you not? It might look worse on camera actually, but in real life, my pores don't look excessively emphasized at all. Now, it doesn't give any coverage really. Maybe a little bit of a flush of colour to the face, but I am here for this. I like it. Look, as long as my rosacea stops annoying me, okay, I can wear this, but I can't use this when I have these rosacea pimples when they are kind of textured. They're okay now, they're just marks. Oh gosh, it's so frustrating. Okay, let's move on to the under eyes. So I was going through my drawer and I was looking at colour correctors and brighteners, and I pulled out this one, which is the Maybelline Instant Age Eraser. Now, I don't use the actual concealer anymore because it just doesn't give me the coverage. Once upon a time, it really did give me the coverage, but I would still recommend it for people with drier under eyes and without any darkness. However, this was released is a corrector colour, and this was in the shade pink. It doesn't actually say the shade, but I think it's just called pink. So you just twist it up. Oh, I really detest this sponge applicator. I hate it. And people really don't like it when I say that, but I have no time for sponge tips like this. Oh no, I don't like it. So I am obviously more inclined to go with kind of peachy undertones when it comes to correctors because it will neutralize my darkness. So I don't use this really very much, but I know that using a pinkier kind of colour corrector underneath your concealer can really help to reduce those dark circles. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger and pop it in to the inner corner, especially where I have that hollow. See how much that just improved it? But you don't want it to be looking too grey either, so it will look decent when I've put some concealer on over the top. Again, I think the reason that I don't use this much is simply because I prefer peachier correctors, and nothing can take me away from my Morphe colour corrector, which I just love so much. I can still see a lot of that darkness because this is just such a lightweight product. It really is. Let me get a brush. This is my Morphe M131 concealer brush. Just going to tap that in a little bit. Yeah, and you know what? It feels nice. It sinks into the skin. You know, it doesn't sit there on top. I don't think it's going to do much for these visible veins though, but we'll see when I pop the concealer on. I have a lot of concealers. I do have so many that I love, but when I was going through my drawer, I spotted a concealer that I loved so much, and I never ever use it anymore, and I'm embarrassed by it, because if you'd have asked me 2 years ago what was one of the best concealers on the market, I would have said this. But for some reason, I don't pick it up anymore, but I did pick it up yesterday and I loved it. And it's this one from Natasha Denona. It's the Hy-Glam concealer. This is in the shade N3, and this is a true neutral shade. Got a bit of an angled doe foot applicator, you can see there. And I just think this is beautiful. And again, I feel embarrassed. I do feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed that I stopped using this, and I don't really understand why I did that. That's one thing that I always like to acknowledge when I do these videos, is that I am so guilty of abandoning products because new products come along. So obviously new concealers come along and we all think, oh, this concealer is going to be better than the last one, and we all have these expectations that newer means better, but it doesn't all the time. Sometimes, yeah, of course, newer stuff is better formulations, better ingredients, but sometimes they're not. And I feel like the Hy-Glam concealer was released at a time when makeup was literally at its peak. I think it was at its best. And yeah, this concealer just never let me down. But been sat in a drawer. Probably expired now, actually, come to think of it. I always take a risk when I do these videos. But anyway, I wore this yesterday and it was absolutely fine. Nothing happened. Nothing bad happened. And just realised how silky it is, how hydrating it feels, and just how crease-free it is. It's the furthest thing from drying, and it just feels and looks beautiful. I would call this I'd call this a full coverage concealer. Yeah, I'd say it looks full coverage, but it doesn't feel full coverage because it is so lightweight. Let's take a close look. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. I mean, I have dry under eyes, I have dry skin, I have thin under eyes, and this is blurring, it's smoothing, it gives amazing coverage and lasts all day. Now I'm definitely going to be picking it up more often because there was absolutely no reason why I stopped using this. I didn't fall out of love with it, I just had my head turned, and so that's going back into my top drawer, and I'm going to insert it into my rotation again because it's just absolutely beautiful. So for foundation, I have another product that I'm absolutely embarrassed that I've left in a drawer, because at the same time that the Natasha Denona was my holy grail, this foundation was everything and more to me. I didn't wear anything else on my face for a long time. It's this one from Nars, the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I still talk about this, but I don't really use it, and I'm not quite sure what happened. Did I get bored of it? Possibly. I think that if we're all honest, we do get bored with products, and I think that's why we move on to the next. This for me was just very natural looking. It gave me great coverage, lasted all day, never emphasized any lines, wrinkles. If anybody would ask me for a recommendation for a foundation, it would be this one. The problem is with Nars is their foundations can run really yellow. So my friend is super pale. It's like she has no real undertone actually. And she cannot wear Nars at all because the foundations just, they run so yellow. And it's a shame because she's missing out. So I have this in the shade Patagonia. Can I just say, this is bringing it back now. The pump sizes drive me insane. That's one full pump. I have literally lost count of the amount of times I have repurchased this foundation. This has, well, it probably is my most repurchased foundation of all time, I would say. Yeah, it is. I'm going to use my BK Beauty. I think this is the A101. We'll go over here first. So this is definitely, again, more of a natural finish foundation. It definitely isn't dewy. And I think it does what it says it's going to. So it definitely, rather than being dewy, it reflects the light really beautifully, really beautifully. I don't know if this shade works for me anymore. I am a lot more pale now than what I used to be because I literally avoid the sun. Plus, I don't have a choice because I live in Ireland. We have no sun. Oh, it really is. It's a beautiful foundation. Oh my gosh. And it's funny because my good friend Jen over at Jen D Beauty, I will link her channel for you down below. She has, I mean, she definitely has more makeup than me. Like, she has a huge collection of makeup, and she had never tried the Nars, and she'd only tried it for the first time recently, and she loves it. And the most interesting thing is that she has oily skin, and she avoided it for years because she thought that it would be an oily mess on her. And it's become one of her favourite foundations. So go check out her channel and her review on this. It just proves that this foundation is not just for the dry skin girls like me. It's for everybody. And I would agree with that. That's with and that's without. Do I look orange? I'm looking, I think it's this lighting. This new lighting that I've got in here is throwing me off completely, because I have changed my lighting, so now you can really see my skin tone, because I felt like I was a bit washed out before. And I don't know what I'm doing with lights and technology. Not a clue. Honestly, if you're ever going to start a YouTube channel, right? Be prepared for the frustration of technology, because it literally ruins my life. It literally does. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. But when it comes to cameras, lighting, and all that jazz, there's a reason why people do, you know, these professional courses to understand lighting and cameras. So I'm definitely not convinced by the shade Patagonia anymore. It's definitely looking way too golden on my skin. However, the actual foundation is beautiful. It claims to have a naturally radiant finish, and I would say that that is 1000% the case with this. You know what? I love the foundation, and it is definitely a foundation that I really need to pick up more. There's absolutely zero reason, apart from the shade, why I'm not using this. It's an absolutely flawless foundation. It really is. Not dewy, not super glowy, just naturally radiant. Beautiful. So for bronzer, this one I don't even want to talk about, but I have to do it. I have to get it out of the way. Again, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed, but for a different reason. This is one of my most expensive complexion items apart from foundation. And I got it and just never used it because I didn't really like it. And I've been embarrassed to talk about it. It's this one from Gucci, the Gucci powder bronzer. Look, barely even touched it at all. So I'm embarrassed about this. But I need to give it another whirl today because this was €55. Just transparency, my husband actually bought me this for Christmas. He doesn't know that I've not been using it, so I hope he's not watching this video. So I have this in the shade 02 Éclat Soleil. And this product was actually out of stock for so long because everybody raved so heavily about it. And I was so excited to get it. I thought it was going to be the best makeup product I'd ever used, and I didn't really like it. So let me show you this shade. And I think it was the shade. It just looked really orange on me. So that's the shade 02. And it doesn't look that warm there, does it? But honestly, on my face, it came out really orange. So I just put it in a drawer. I actually have kept it in the original little pouch. And I do have to acknowledge the beautiful packaging. It's very luxurious. You know what? I don't mind it. If you're paying that much money, you want to have the whole package. And it comes with a lovely mirror and, oh, it's fallen out. It comes with this brush. Now, I've never used this brush. I don't think I want to use that. That looks very skinny for a bronzer brush. No, I don't want that. My favourite brush for bronzer at the minute, for powder bronzer, is this one from Morphe. This is the M162 powder brush. So we're going to use that today. If I used a little skinny brush like that one that comes with the bronzer, that's going to give me such an intense application. I don't want that. I want something diffused. So I'm just going to pop my brush into it. Why am I terrified? I know. I should have spoken about this sooner, but I was just too embarrassed to pull it out because everybody raved about this as being the best bronzer ever, and I really hated it when I put it on. Okay, that looks kind of nice. Okay, maybe it's not as orange as what I remembered. Build it up a bit. There is a fragrance to this as well, but actually it's nice. It's nicer. It's one of the nicest luxury fragrances that you'll smell. It doesn't smell like the Dior. You know, sometimes the Dior can be a little bit offensive. That's really nice. It kind of smells like florally. Okay, that actually, does that look all right? Okay, it's not actually looking orange. Why is it not looking orange? It definitely did look orange. I'm so confused. Okay, that's looking kind of natural. Oh no, have I made a mistake by putting this in a drawer? I'm so confused. Do you know what? There can be so many reasons why you try a product and you don't like it. Number one, for me, it's generally my skin at the time. If my skin is misbehaving, I hate everything. And number two, it can actually be the brush that you apply it with. And this Morphe brush is newer to my collection. I'll make sure I list this in the description box. I've been loving it for powder products. Okay, I think I might have been wrong. Oh no, that's embarrassing, isn't it? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that is really pretty. Now, isn't that a good job that I pulled that out today? Because I had convinced myself that it was the biggest mistake ever. You see, now I have comments every single day from people who say, I really hated that product. I wore it once and put it in the bin. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Things can change. Preferences change. Your skin changes every single day, especially when you get to an age like mine. Keep trying your products, because I had literally convinced myself that that Gucci bronzer was the worst mistake that I'd ever made, honestly. And I love it today. This is why we do videos like this. Now, do I think it's literally as good as what people rave about? I don't think it's going to change your life, but is it really pretty? Oh, you bet your bottom dollar. It's absolutely lovely. Okay. Oh my gosh, I actually feel so relieved right now. Try the products that you hated. Please go back and try them. You may change your mind. It's time for blush now, and I think I'm pretty good at making my way through my blushes because it's my favourite category. But there was one blush that I absolutely fell in love with, and then for some reason, I just haven't been picking it up. And it's actually this one from Kiko Milano. This is the Velvet Touch Creamy Stick Blush. I used this honestly so consistently for a couple of weeks, and then I forgot to use it again. So this is the shade 07. And it just has a nice, really nice rosy, even slightly mauvey undertone to it. I think the name of this is Natural Rose. So I'm going in with my Beauty 109 brush as usual. And just going to pop that onto the cheeks. Why have I not been using this? I can't actually explain this one. I can only imagine that I've just been going for more dewier type blushes, whereas this is very natural. Oh, that is so stunning, isn't it? Okay, this blush is absolutely beautiful. And this is just so natural. There's nothing dewy about it. The only luminosity really that you're seeing there is from my base product. So it's from the Glotion, it's from the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. This is the most perfect blush for people who want blush that is super long lasting, because this definitely is, and also a blush that is not super dewy, because not everybody likes that. So this is just, I'd say it is just naturally radiant, a little bit like the foundation. Okay, I'm annoyed with myself again. How healthy does that make your face look? This is one of the nicest cream blushes you can find for a natural finish. So why has this been sat in a drawer? I don't know. I don't know what my problem is. Do you know what my problem is? I don't know. Right, let's move on to the eyes. Now, I've been using a lot of eyeshadow palettes recently, but in my heart, you know that I just love one and done eyeshadows. And I was looking through my one and done eyeshadow section, and there was one and done that I spotted that I know people love, and I've just never really fallen in love with it. And it's these from Makeup by Mario. These are the Master Matte Longwear Cream Eyeshadows. Now, I got the shade at the time when I bought these, Chestnut and Mauve. So I think we're going to go with Mauve today. I'll show you these two shades. So here's the thing. I feel like I didn't really like the shades. I didn't think there was a great deal of lovely shades to choose from, in my opinion. I mean, no, what am I talking about? That I would like. Okay, so you know I'm boring and I don't really branch out much, but there wasn't any shade really that I absolutely loved. This one, Chestnut, is a little too dark for me, and this one, Mauve, which is probably my favourite of the two, just kind of blends in with my skin tone. So I haven't really got much use of them, and these, they dry down so fast. Now I know creams and liquids notoriously do. Liquids definitely. Creams, you usually get a little bit of kind of wiggle room with them, but this just, it dries so quickly. Now the good thing about that is when it dries, it stays there all day. So again, you've got Chestnut at the bottom and Mauve at the top. So I mean, look, these are definitely no budge eyeshadows for real. I'm going to take my, what's this? Sigma E25 brush. This is good for creams and liquids on the lid. Now, I haven't done anything to my lid. It's obvious there's a little bit of concealer knocking around, but not a lot. So the beauty of these eyeshadows is that you don't need to prep. I think they were about €25, but I have to reiterate what I said at the time. There's only 2 ml of product in this. 2 ml. That is teeny weeny, honestly. If I compare it to the new MAC Multi Sculpt, which I love, 4.5 ml. So, you know, over double what you're getting. So how long are these really going to last you? Lasting me ages because I don't use them. So let's give them a whirl today. So we're going in with Mauve, and I'm just going to whack it all over the lid. My concealer is really creasing there. I don't even know which is the culprit because I used two products today. I'm thinking it's the Maybelline because I wore the Natasha Denona yesterday and it was absolutely fine. Okay, so just applied that, blended it within a single little second. I mean, these are super easy to apply. So easy. And they really do make life easy when you are trying to put your makeup on in a rush. Because these are a dry formula, and I do find them really dry in comparison to, you know, my liquids. Obviously, they dry down really fast, but I don't find them particularly buildable. So basically, you just have to work really fast. I mean, look, it's nice. I'm really not trying to criticize these, but I don't use them, and I don't use them because I don't find them to be as good as my liquids. That's just how I feel. I have no issue with the actual product. Honestly, it's more of a me problem. I just have different preferences and I prefer liquids. I find they're a little bit more forgiving and a little bit easier to work with, but I do still think these are really nice. So just taking a Beauty 209 just to smush that out under the lash line a bit. I mean, they don't sit into any of your lid lines if that's what you were worried about, so they are very flattering in that sense. I think I would definitely be using Mauve more from now on for sure. I think it's really nice and I'm glad I pulled them out again today. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of an eyeliner, just a little bit, because I think we're lacking a bit of depth. And this used to be my absolute favourite. So it's the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil in Hot Chocolate. Do you remember how much I used to go on about this? So creamy. And you know what? I just don't wear a lot of eyeliner at all. That's the shade. So I've got my Sigma E06 brush on hand and just going to bring it just on the lash line. Wow, I forgot how creamy that is. That is nuts. Whoa. Yeah, so I just don't really wear eyeliner. Just going to extend out that lash line slightly. I don't do wings, so don't ask me to. Yeah, I don't really have a reason why I stopped using this eyeliner. I think it's just that I don't really wear eyeliner, and that's it. It's funny because so many people swear by eyeliner, don't they? And I'm just boring. It doesn't have a really sharp, pointy tip though. So it's more kohl feeling, if that makes sense. Is it a kohl? No, it's not a kohl, no. And it's a twist up as well. Who doesn't love a twist up? Said I wasn't doing a wing and then did a wing, and two that don't match at all. That's fine. That's real life, isn't it? That's the reason why I don't do wings. But I absolutely adore this eyeliner, and I just know that I've just not been using it because I don't do eyeliner. And this is how no budget is. There you go, look. That ain't moving, friends. Essence, never let you down, do they? Literally never. Unreal. For mascara, I was going through my drawer and I noticed a mascara that I had purchased not too long ago actually, because so many people had told me that it was amazing. Because I love drugstore mascaras, they are just my favourite and I would pick them over higher end any day. And I don't really know why I'd not picked this up again, and it's this one from Maybelline. This is Maybelline the Falsies Lash Lift. And I'd got this because so many people had recommended it. And do you know what I think it is? I pulled it out yesterday to use. I think it's the brush. I hate brushes like this. Can you see how it's kind of big, bulky, and I find it a little bit daunting for my eyes. This, I think with the brush, I just expected it to be a bit clumpy, and this isn't at all. So I think I just kind of forgot that I had this in my collection. And it's so beautiful. When I wore it yesterday, I realised and understood why so many people recommended this to me, because obviously I bang on about drugstore mascaras all the time. Somebody asked me recently, about my favourite mascaras from the drugstore, and do you know, that would be an impossible task for me because I literally love so many of them. Now, I have got this a little bit on my skin there, but don't worry about that. One thing I noticed with this is how easy it is to actually remove. Do you know, this is not a new mascara, is it? It's an old one. I think I just forgot that it existed. I really do think that that's the case. Just going in at the base. Now, the only thing that this doesn't do, it doesn't drag your lashes. So you kind of have to do the work yourself, but it's worth it. So I do think it's coming back to me a bit about this mascara and why I didn't pick it up as much. So I think the main issue for me is the lack of lift with it. So it is hard to lift my lashes anyway if I don't curl them. But I think if you look at the corner of my lashes, they are not lifted at all. And usually with more of a lengthening mascara, I will get a little bit more lift at the corners, and I don't feel like I'm really getting that today. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a really nice mascara. There's no issues with this mascara performing in any way. I wore it all day yesterday. And also, it was super easy to remove. So yeah, I do like this. It's not my absolute favourite, but I think if you are looking for volumized lashes, this is the one for you. It's really pretty, but I need a bit more lift. We're going to move on to a powder now, and this is a funny one because I know exactly why I've not been picking up this powder. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection. I think this is fabulous. I think it's a phenomenal powder, but I'll tell you what my problem is. This I started to use at the same time as the Wet n Wild, the soft pink photo focus powder, and you get a whopping 20 grams of product in that, and I love it. It's one of my absolute holy grails. Now, this would be up there, but it's so expensive. You get the teeny weeny tiniest amount in this. It's 6 grams of product, and I think it was about $14. Now, this isn't available in Europe yet. I actually don't know if it ever will be. It was my brother-in-law that brought me this back from America. And although I think this is a premium powder, I got mad with it for being too expensive for the drugstore. I think if you got triple the amount in this pack, then I would be inclined to say that this is super value for money. But because you get such a tiny amount, it's hard for me to sit here and say it's so amazing. I'm just going to take a Morphe M164 brush, and I'm just going to go into what's in the lid. Now, I don't really want to set my under eyes because I don't think that you need to set this concealer. So I'm just going to go over kind of this area. Oh gosh, did you see that blurring? This is so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But when I recommend a product, I can tell you whether I think it's good or not. But it has to be value for money. And I think I saw somewhere that the Huda Beauty is actually cheaper per gram than this. I mean, look at that blurring. Did you see that? That's mad, isn't it? It's really gorgeous. I don't know why it's not in Europe. I can only imagine it's due to the ingredients in some way. I'm just going to go over the T-zone a bit. So, insane product. Absolutely beautiful. But it's so tiny. The amount you get is just, it's ridiculous. It is. Oh my gosh. So my microphone stopped working as I was doing the highlighter. Oh, I'm so angry about that. Right, I'm going to show you the footage of me applying this, which is the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glace highlighter. I used to love this. It was my favourite. I have it in the shade Glassy Pearl Éclat, and I applied it with this brush, the Real Techniques concealer brush. It gives a really wet look to the face, and I love it because it sinks into the skin and it doesn't emphasize texture on my face. And you'll see from the footage, I was so giddy applying it. It literally just feels so weightless, and it doesn't have a base color to it. If you are trying to hang on to glossy looking cheeks, but you don't want the powdery texture, this is the perfect product for that. I told you that technology hates me, didn't I? I told you that I am victimized by technology. I'm just not meant to do this. I'm literally not cut out for this job, honestly. I'm really not. Anyway, let's persevere and just hope for the best. So I was going through my lip liners and I rediscovered my NYX lip liners. I used to love NYX lip liners and I know why I don't use them anymore. Two reasons. One, because the Maybelline lifter liners came along and nothing is better than them. And number two, because they were such a pain to sharpen. We're not going to use this one because it's lived its life. So we're going to use this one. And this is in the shade Nude Beige, of course, because everything I have is nude. So that's the shade Nude Beige. And I don't know whether it's because I've got that highlighter on my hand that it's a little bit hard to swatch. Yeah, it's definitely not as creamy, but I love the colour. NYX, honestly, used to be the one for lip liners for me. And I didn't use anything else for a long time. No, that's taking a lot of effort. Now that is pretty, isn't it? It took a little bit of effort, but that is very, very pretty. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I think that it was worth the little bit of extra effort. But if you have drier lips, I think you would struggle to apply this because it doesn't glide as effortlessly as, say, the Maybelline does. But it's, look at that. That shade is beautiful. It's slightly cool toned and I love it. It's beautiful. I just like the ease of application, and yeah, the Maybelline are just a little bit easier. But once upon a time, these NYX liners were all I wanted to use, honestly. So for lipsticks, we're not going in with the traditional lipstick today, but I picked up these out of my drawer. I have three of these, I think. So these are the Maybelline Lifter Glaze Oil Balms. And the reason that I pulled these out was because I know that Maybelline have released another Lifter Oil product, haven't they? Now, they haven't reached here yet. Well, they haven't reached Ireland yet, so I can't get hold of them. But I thought we'd give these a whirl because these are amazing. So here in my hand, I've got Caramel Glow and Berry Haze, and I think we're going to go in with Berry Haze. Now, these are so underrated. Now, they're quite sheer, but very buildable, and they are a lip balm, but I'd say that you can get the coverage of a lipstick out of it, definitely. There is the shade Berry Glow, and it doesn't look like much on a swatch, which balms never do, but when you get them on the lips, these are gorgeous. How pretty is that? And with that lip liner as well. So nice. Now, the one thing I don't like is the taste of these. I don't know what they taste of, but they do have a bit of a fragrance. So pretty, but they do have a fragrance. Don't ask me what it is, but I don't really like it. They're not sticky, not tacky, very super comfortable and so pretty, and you can build them up as well. So nice. Honestly, I feel like when these were released, everybody loved them, and now people don't really talk about them anymore. And there's a good few shades to choose from. Really nice. If you don't like the feeling of lipstick, you want kind of a hybrid between a lipstick and a lip oil, then this is it. Super pretty. Right, I think, is that it? I think we're done. So that is the finished look with all of my abandoned makeup products, and I couldn't be happier today. I'm feeling a little bit lighter today about some of my choices recently, because that Gucci bronzer in particular, I've had so much regret over it, but it's honestly looked flawless today. And this is another reason why I like to do these videos, because it's really important that when you have a product that you think is a fail, that you think looks terrible on you, that you keep it for a while and you try it again, because skin it changes so much. And I thought that it was super orange on me, and it's It's definitely not. It's not. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh. I will reiterate, I wouldn't be encouraging you to go and spend €55 on a bronzer, but you're paying for the whole package with this. Gucci, the name, you're paying for the packaging, and at least you do get fancy packaging. So, no, honestly, everything that I've tried today, I've been so happy with. There's nothing I've tried today that I think is a disaster. There's lots of different reasons why I abandoned these products, as we've talked about. So whether it was that I thought that it looked terrible on my skin, new products came along and turned my head. Lots of reasons why we abandon makeup, but we need to go back to them because I've rediscovered some absolute beauties today, and you need to go and do the same. So do let me know, what abandoned makeup do you have in your drawer? Let me know everything. Let me know if you're planning on picking anything up again that you've had sat in a drawer, and let me know how it goes, because I'd love to hear all about it. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.